What's up, ladies and gentlemen? YouTube Stando TV here, keeping you guys in the know. And E3 is going on right this moment, if you didn't know. And I'm going to do reaction videos, of course, to all the press conferences right here on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. First off, let's talk about EA, which was, to me, a little bit underwhelming. EA started by showing us off Titanfall 2, which is coming to all platforms this time around, including PC, PS4, as well as the Xbox One, which is pretty cool. And they announced that it will have a single-player campaign, which the original Titanfall didn't, which is also pretty cool. But, you know, I think they're reacting to... I do literally believe that they are reacting to audience response last time around. Titanfall, of course, Titanfall 1, nobody's talking about anymore. Nobody was talking about Titanfall a month out. So, yeah, I think that they're trying to really make Titanfall stick in our minds long term this time. Looks good. The single player campaign especially looks good. There's more Titans, more Titan types, and apparently the Titan is some sort of artificial intelligence that's sentient. How cool is that? EA went on to announce sports games with Madden and FIFA, and how they want to integrate those with esports. And this is where I always get bored every year with EA's press conference, is the sports game, because EA, I don't think E3 is the place to do the sports games, because you know the sports games are coming. They're an annual thing. Of course there's going to be a new FIFA, of course there's going to be a new Madden, and they're annualized, and they're not going to be that much different from the last iteration. And I think it's really cool that they're wanting to incorporate with esports, but I still think that maybe some sort of, I don't know, ESPN event or something like that would be a better place to announce this. I'm not sure. I just don't think it's E3. I know EA wanted to have its own press conference, and that's why it was so early. That's why they were first, is because they rented new space and they rented new booths, and they're doing this, their live play event. But it's so close to E3. The venue is so close to E3 that people are associating this conference with E3. So this is your E3 announcement. Even if you want to call it something else, you want the press and the buzz. That's why you did it so close to E3. I think the sports stuff, you really need to separate far away from this event as possible, or just don't have one. And I'll talk more about why they probably shouldn't have even had one coming up, because let's face it, we saw a lot of regurgitation of what we saw last year, and nothing really new. FIFA is getting a sort of story campaign, which is pretty cool, but graphically it looks like a PlayStation 3 game, and it's probably because it's going to release on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, even though it's running in Frostbite. Madden and FIFA in particular, I don't know, something about the animations and the textures and things, it just looked off. It doesn't look like a well-polished brand new game. No, it's not near release date yet, but I'm just saying it looked funny. And so if you're a FIFA fan, do you even care about a actual story campaign where you're playing through this dude's life as a professional soccer player? And I mean all aspects of his life, like a dialogue campaign. Do you care as a sports fan? I know I didn't really care as a Madden or an NCAA college fan, but hey, it's just me. Let me know what you think. The next thing we got was the Mass Effect Andromeda stuff, which was basically Dev Diaries stuff that we saw last year. There was no, nothing new here. There was nothing new to announce for Mass Effect. They're going to have more details later in the year. We did get to see a little bit of new footage, but not very much. The game looks beautiful. It looks awesome. They said that we'll find out more later on in the year, probably around November 7th, I would say, on Mass Effect Day. I don't know. And this game was delayed from this year to Q1, at least Q1 next year. This is my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if the game gets delayed again, because I don't know, something about them delaying this and not having more to talk about. I mean, if you're going to talk about this game, E3 is the perfect place to do it. I don't know, the way they presented the game was very underwhelming. Sure, I'm excited for Mass Effect, having playing through the original trilogy for the first time here recently. I'm totally looking forward to what new installment stuff they have for Mass Effect, but I don't know, it just didn't hit me the way I think it should. And let's talk about Star Wars stuff, because they talked about Star Wars stuff for 5 minutes. Yeah, they did. But they didn't really show us anything, because those games are nowhere near ready. Star Wars Battlefront 2, they mentioned that it would have a single player campaign. It will be released next year, but they didn't show anything from it. Probably because it's not imminent enough. I don't know. And then we got to see 3 seconds of Amy Hennig's game over at Visceral, their Star Wars project, and they talked about how there's going to be a Star Wars game for every type of Star Wars fan, which is kind of interesting. But again, these games are longer than 18 months out. So why did they didn't show maybe 3 seconds of every game? You know, like, we know that Respawn's working on a game. We know, you know, there's all these studios that are working on games, but they didn't show anything really. It was more of a dev diary, and I don't bring that stuff to your press conference, because it's not ready to be shown. If it's not ready, don't show it. Don't talk about it. Mum's the word. People like to be surprised. Remember last year when Fallout 4 announced, it announced the week of E3. They talked about it at E3, and then it released that year. That's the way game announcements should be done. And if you're going to announce something a little further out, that's fine, but bring a presentation of some sort. This just falls flat what you did for Star Wars. And every Star Wars fan globally felt that. I'm just saying, show us something next time. Or don't talk about it at all. One of those two things, but whatever. Let's talk about Fee. Last year, if you didn't know, Yarny was unveiled to the world, and a little game called Ravel, with a small developer who was nervous as fuck when he came out on the stage. This year they're doing it again with a game called Fee. This is their indie darling that they've sought out, and you know, I'm really glad EA is doing something like this to, you know, help independent smaller studios. But I really wish that instead of just doing one, that they would do 2 or 3 at a time. Yeah. I'm excited to see what kind of game this is going to be, what it's about. It looks interesting. So yeah, good job on EA for paying attention to the little guys and helping the smaller developers out. I can honestly say nothing negative here. GG, EA. And now let's literally talk about Battlefield 1. They showed us a lot more Battlefield 1 stuff at E3, including a gameplay live stream, which is pretty cool. Battlefield 1 looks pretty cool. I don't like the fact that they are openly admitting that this game's going to have microtransactions and macrotransactions. If you didn't know what macrotransactions is, that's pretty much your Season Pass DLC stuff with map packs and all that goodies. And then, of course, the cosmetic microtransactions. Why? When Overwatch is doing such a good job at doing cosmetic microtransactions, but giving you all the game update releases for free, you know, doing the microtransactions part, that splits your audience. That really hurts your audience by splitting it like that. But hey, what do I know? Like I said, I was totally underwhelmed for this EA conference. They didn't show us anything more than they showed last year. Basically, they bought 3 games that were releasing maybe within the next year. 3, maybe 3 games. Really, we don't know about Mass Effect. We do know that Titanfall is coming. We do know that Battlefield 1 is coming. Sports games are coming, but who didn't know the sports games are coming? So really, the only thing new that we wanted to talk about, that we wanted to hear from, was Battlefield and Titanfall 2. That was it. Because Mass Effect, they didn't release enough details, and there's still no release date. That's very underwhelming when you only brought 2 games to your press conference. Like I said, guys, I will be doing this for all of the press conferences. You'll get my you'll get my reaction. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it, please. And don't forget to check me out over at Twitter at Stando TV, twitch.tv/StandoTV. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, I love your face. Have a good one.